Hi, good morning, fellow investors. This is Mandeep, and I wanted to do uh, a quick video and share some of the trades that I have taken this morning, and I have posted most of the trades on the Discord room as well. So as of now, or a little bit earlier, I took a long on APTV, AYX, FB, FIV, and UPRO, REGN, VeriSign, AMD, and Coop. And let's go over each of these trades, just for you to get a quick sense of why I'm taking these trades. Now, the first thing is that there's obviously a big focus on cloud companies today, and that's because I believe ServiceNow announced their results today. That stock is up over 22 points, so it put a focus on the rest of the companies as well. And I also got a little I have a buy signal here with a yellow bar, so that's keeping me long in this particular trade. In addition, if I look at these signals at the bottom, which is the Ichimoku Cloud, the MACD, I have a new signal that I developed called the TTM squeeze. So what it tells you is that this is not squeezing on any time frame, right? So there are four time frames that I look at. So if it's 15, I'm looking at 30-hour day, right? So it's not squeezing on any time frame. And then we're looking at the moving average as well. This is something that I also developed recently, where it's looking at 9-day moving average greater than 21-day on multiple time frames. So I'm also long AMD stock, and so this is trading above the orb. This is the 30-minute orb. It's trading above that. I have something else that I'll talk more about in another video, and this is based on WD Gann square of 9 calculator. And so uh, this is basically it uses angular measurements, right? Like things like 90 degree, 180 degrees, so on and so forth, and we'll go into details of that in a separate video. But the premise is that it should be trading above this value, right? If it is trading above this value, it's bullish for the day. And this is actually more relevant for day trades. And let's see, what else do we have? I'm also long Facebook. From just earlier this morning, I took the trade around here. And so this is a long trade for me. FIVN, which I talked about, is long for me as well. I'm also long REGN, and it's basically the same principle, right? Where there's a it'll paint in a few seconds. It gets a little slow if I'm recording it as well, but you'll see a buy signal show up in a second on this trade as well. And everything else is aligned. You can see all these indicators are green, right? There's good buying pressure on this as well. And we'll see how these pan out. So I don't know how they'll work out, but one thing I'll make sure is whichever ones I'm already up on, right? At minimum, I'll set a stop loss at even, right? So the thing that I don't want to do is turn a winner into a loser. So anyway, net. So these are the positions I'm in right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And we'll see how these develop during the day. So there's a few other ramblings I want to share with you as the day goes on. So a couple of you in the trading room and actually the Discord room asked me, what is my selection criteria? So this is your day trading list, and this is your TC long small, which most of you who have the ultimate trading signal have this list. So how do I decide which ones to focus on? So it's pretty simple for me. So there's three things in this column. One is ORB, the first one, which it's a little bit covered, but it's the opening range breakout, which is whatever the range got established in the first 30 minutes. So that's one. The second thing is something called USIG, which is essentially a combination of 6 or 7 signals that I have, and these are weighted, and they range from +6 to -6. So these two are positive. And finally, the third thing that I have, which is really hard to replicate or create, is something called relative volume. So what it is doing is it's looking at the volume at this point in time and comparing what the normal volume is for this time of the day. And if it is exceeding that by 15 to 20%, it's marking it as green. So you can look at AMD. So everything is aligned. So these are the stocks that I have not that much interest because they're trading way below their normal volume for this time of the day. They could, of course, come back. Either news could drive it up or whatever else, but that's not what I care about at this point in time. I have enough options here to look at and focus on those stocks. So let's look at this APTV, same thing, 1, 6, and 60. Everything is green, so I'm in this stock. Coop Software 1675, right? So basically, it's already traded 75% of its volume in a little over hour and a half, right, of its trading day. So one thing is for certain: there's institutional interest in this stock, right? Retailers can't drive the stock up, to its max value or its average trading value in an hour and a half. Facebook, of course, clearly because of its results. FIVN, same principle, it's trading 75% of its normal volume. So one of the things you can decipher by looking at this very quickly is this, big focus on cloud companies today. And as I said, that's primarily driven by the results of ServiceNow. And let me see if there's anything else of interest that I want to call out. This is the only one that I got into where the volume is not exceeding the uh, average volume for the day, and this is mainly based on the chart. So that's the only deviation I made. Other than that, everything else that I got really is focused on high volume. So I wanted to continue where we left off in this discussion. Now it is about 9:45 Pacific Standard Time, so the market's been open for about um, 2 hours and 15 minutes. And what I've done is I've peeled off most of my positions at this point, right? And I mentioned to you I took 5 or 6 different positions: APTV, CRM. I also took Amazon in between. I took COUP, and so here's a complete list of stocks that I took. Right, so I had UPRO, REGN, FIVN, Facebook, Coop, AYX, APTV, Amazon, and AMD. These are the ones that I discussed earlier. And so all of them had profits. So some of them had like really small profits. But what I don't like is turning a winning trade into a losing trade, even if it's break even, right? Some of these are break even trades, but all these little trades added up with the UPRO and Amazon helping a lot, right? So they contributed to most about half of the total profit. REGN did well, and again I traded very small today. The market's been up so much over the last couple of days. There's a reasonable chance of some pullback that might happen. We're also approaching, or we did approach the 2708, 2709 level, and that is the 61.8% retracement between the highs and the lows. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So if you look at the SPX chart here, and we switch to not the 15 but the daily version, or the daily time frame, you will see that between the highs that performed in September and the lows that performed in December, we are now approaching 61.8%. So in other words, there's been a big push right from the bottom all the way up, and when that happens, there's like some pullback that's expected. So this 2713 is the 61.8% retracement level, right? And that's why I'm a little bit cautious around this level. By no means it implies the market's going to start falling at this point in time, but there's a reasonable chance of some profit taking to happen here, and it may very well go past this just today. Or we're expecting Amazon results close to the market, and if that does well, there's a very high probability that we're going to take off this level tomorrow again. So I don't play earnings, so I did have Amazon. I took it off, and at this point, I'm essentially done with the trading. It's about 2.5 hours of trading, all of them courtesy of the ultimate trading signal that I have. And I'll show you a few examples, unless the system's slow, and it does become slow when I'm recording at the same time. But let's take a few examples. APTV. Um, Again, some of these companies, I don't follow their businesses very closely, but all I care about is the chart and do I see a buy signal on on these charts. So we'll take a look at a couple examples and then we can call it a day. Right? So this is a buy that happened. It broke the orb. It was straight. Everything is aligned green, and the stock ended up doing well. Right? We look at Amazon and what was the rationale for trading Amazon. And again, as I said, I took it off early. There was I could have held it on for a bit longer, but hey, profits are profits, so I don't mind being in that situation where I took the trade off a little bit early. So here was like on the day trade, here was a buy that got triggered, and by the time I took it, was 1708, and I took it off at about 1728. The stock's trading a little bit higher at 1732. Um, but you can never catch the peak, and I have no interest in keeping Amazon overnight with results. I mean, it could easily go up 100 points, which is the expected move, but on the other hand, it hurts you a lot more if you lose 100 points. All right, guys, have a good rest of the trading day. Take care.